No matter what game you play, there's going to be a ton of complaints about it. I don't care if it's popular or won an award, somebody's not going to like it, somebody's going to have complaints about it. And when it comes to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I don't care if you're hyped or you are pissed off by Call of Duty's continued existence, one thing remains true. Call of Duty Modern Warfare will be a video game. More specifically, an FPS game. More specifically, a multiplayer online FPS game. I know there will be co-op and there will be campaign, but that's not what I'm referring to. Usually communities aren't built off of a single player shooter campaign, and usually communities are not built off of the optional co-op mode. I'm sorry, the Call of Duty community has been based off the multiplayer, and arguably zombies as well, but mostly it's been multiplayer for years. That's not arguable, and when it comes to how hyped you are or aren't for Modern Warfare, it's important to remember that it's going to have all of the same problems you've ever seen in any other online FPS game. And I was thinking about this while getting this gameplay. I was kind of goofing off in Modern Warfare Remastered, and I was thinking this is a 2016 remaster of a game that came out in 2007, and people are still doing the stupid things they were doing 10 years ago, people have invented new stupid things, the balance hasn't gotten any better, and it really does cement that games are just games. What am I saying? This sounds like pretentious rhetoric. What I'm saying is that Modern Warfare, when it comes out, will have lag. It will have maps you don't like. It will have campers. It will have tryhards. It'll have shitty teammates, weapons that need balancing, microtransactions you don't want to buy, added content that you don't like. You're gonna shoot first and die first and wonder if it's your connection or their connection or the game servers. Or it could be personal, like, you don't have a proper diet and you didn't eat enough, you didn't get enough sleep, you tried to hop on and have fun, but you just aren't performing at your optimal state and you do terribly, get mad, and don't play the game for a week. Some of your friends are gonna love it, some of your friends are gonna hate it, some of your friends will only play it if you're online, and because of that, they're not going to get a lot of practice, and because of that, when you play with them, they're not going to do very well, and they're going to get mad. But most importantly, you're going to get bored, you're going to get tired, you're going to get irritated as you play. Maybe you love the game and you don't have any of these problems, you're still probably not going to want to play it for a year straight without taking a break and playing other games. There will be a burning point, there will be a point where you've kind of experienced all it has to offer, you've kind of hit a threshold where, you're not really progressing, you're not really getting better, you're just kind of going through the motions, and then you're going to want a new experience, a new challenge. The reason I'm saying this very obvious thing is because it doesn't seem to me that it's obvious to other people. Subconsciously, when you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, you know that. This is why Jordan Peterson's popular. If you don't know that name, well, I recommend you look it up and go down that rabbit hole because he has a lot of interesting things to say. But a lot of the things he says are things that everybody just kind of knows, like take care of yourself so that you're capable of taking care of others. Clean your room, basically, is the analogy he uses. And people get on him like, well, that's obvious. You're supposed to take care of yourself before you take care of other things, because otherwise, how are you going to put people back together if you're falling apart? That's an obvious thing. But it doesn't appear to him that it is, because people keep making the same mistakes. People keep setting the same expectations for other people, and they can never live up to them, and no one else can ever live up to them, and it's just sad. That's what I see in the gaming area when it comes to FPS games, especially online competitive FPS games. People have the same complaints no matter what, as if the next shooter that comes out is supposed to have flawless connection, or that your ISP and your router configuration is supposed to suddenly be perfect on this game? I don't know. Pessimism with a healthy dose of confirmation bias takes over, and it just makes the game seem shittier than it is. Or maybe it's the type of game you're in the mood for, and you like the aesthetic of it, and you enjoy playing with your friends, and so nobody can criticize it because you're having just too much fun, and it goes either way. So it might sound like I'm describing something basic, but in my opinion, it's not. This is something I'm constantly hearing complaints about. Oh, in this game, I shoot first and die first. I pump 10 rounds into somebody and they don't die. Well, that could be a connection problem. Your aim isn't as good as you think it is. I doubt the game is just not registering your hits. I'm sorry, nobody would play a game where it just doesn't register your hits because fuck you. Oh, all people do in this game is sit in corners. Yeah, people are gonna sit in corners. People camp in games like Doom and Destiny. People will camp in different games. Some people are not confident, aggressive players, or they just like getting under your skin. And most of the people that I see complaining about campers run headlong into them and get killed by them over and over again. This gun's overpowered, I'm not playing until it's nerfed, and then that's gonna get nerfed and another gun's gonna be overpowered. That's just how it goes. Now, there are certainly outliers of incompetence when it comes to game balance and development. The BAL-27 and ASM-1 in Advanced Warfare come to mind. Those guns, that assault rifle, that SMG, even after their quote-unquote nerfs, I still think they are head and shoulders above guns in that game, guns in other games. Just seriously, they're too damn consistent at what they do, and they don't require enough effort from the player for what they put out. Or in Black Ops 4, Black Ops 4 is full of contradictory gameplay designs that I hate. Like, hey, we've increased the amount of health you have so you don't die as fast, but we've also added inspectors who can get in the middle of 5 of your teammates and then just, you know, spam right trigger and kill everyone. I mean, I stopped playing Black Ops 4 when they added in Zero, because Zero was one of the worst introductions I've ever seen into a COD game, because I thought, and my friends thought, she was going to counter specialist abilities, not steal and destroy my score streaks from the privacy of her spawn room. There are things like the Battlefield 4 defensive perk that I don't know why it hasn't been fixed yet, but it hasn't. They fixed so many things. They practically remade Battlefield 4 from the ground up throughout its life cycle and never fixed the defensive perk. But there will always be players that don't care about how well it's balanced. They'll just, you know, use whatever is comfortable to them, and they'll do pretty well, and they'll have fun, and they don't know what all the fuss is about. Then there will be people that constantly complain about every aspect of the game, whether it's balance in terms of weapons, or your team balance, or matchmaking, or map design. You know, there's going to be that every time. It's every year, it's every release of every shooter. That's just how it goes. These are common shooter complaints. Every genre of game has the same types of complaints, but online FPS games, I don't know. If you've been playing them for as long as I have, and you like to play a variety like I do, then we shouldn't still be surprised by them. The game isn't going to be full of corner campers. There's just always going to be corner campers in games like this. Unless the game is actively catering towards them and doesn't give you the ability to counter them, or doesn't, you know, in terms of perks or equipment, then I don't really want to hear it. Nobody's going to play the way you want them to so that it's easier or more fun for you. You know, their goal is to piss you off and beat you, and, you know, honestly, that's your goal as well. Trying to have some sort of false sense of honor while you're playing a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield is just a way to get your ass kicked and then get salty that everyone else is actually trying properly. You know, games have metas, and you don't need to embrace them every second of every day, but maybe you need to respect them and wrap your head around them so that they don't surprise you. Like, I love Rainbow Six Siege dearly, but I hate the fact that the meta seems to be revolved around not being a slow tactical game and instead overwhelming and bombarding an enemy before they can actually do anything. I don't like it, but I have to embrace it and wrap my head around it if I'm going to enjoy the game. And, you know, it's like with anything, you have to understand and be able to take part in something you don't like in order to counter it, and in order to defeat it in some way, you have to have an understanding of how to use it. You know what I mean? And so basically what I'm trying to say is that Modern Warfare will be a video game with corner campers, iffy hit detection, people with ping advantages and disadvantages, guns that need to be balanced, maps that are campier than other maps, and maps that are too clusterfucky, and we're just gonna have to embrace it. That doesn't mean you don't provide feedback, you don't complain, you don't criticize. I don't mean shut up about it. I mean, let's go into this game knowing this, so maybe we can pick our battles a little bit better and embrace the game for what it is. It's not going to play like Black Ops 2, it's gonna play like Modern Warfare. It's not gonna play like Modern Warfare 2, or even COD 4, the original Modern Warfare. It's not gonna play like Halo, it's not gonna play like Doom, it's not gonna play like Destiny, it's not gonna play like Insurgency or Squad or Battlefield. It's going to be its own thing, with its own mechanics, its own perks, its own weapons, its own problems, its own meta, its own player base, and if we don't suck it up, we will be miserable. Like, seriously, with any upcoming game, if you do not suck it up, you're going to be miserable. And at the same time, though, if you don't provide your criticism and get your voice out there and do a little bit of, you know, targeted bitching at things, then things will never get better, and you can't really shape the community or start discussions that might impact the gameplay later. You know, you can't do that if you just stay quiet and say, get over it, you know? So, suck it up, but, you know, suck it. Is that how I'm gonna end this? Suck it up, but suck it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.